The richest man in your city paid less in taxes last year than you did. And it was completely legal. This isn't a glitch. It's not an accident. The tax system wasn't broken. It was designed. And today, we're going to expose exactly how it works. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett. In some years, they paid zero federal income tax. Zero. While nurses, teachers, and truck drivers handed over 20, 30, sometimes 40% of every paycheck. Here's the first secret. The rich don't earn a salary. You earn income. They earn wealth. And those two things are taxed very, very differently. If your stock goes up by $1 billion, but you don't sell it, you owe nothing. Not a single cent. This is called an unrealized gain. And billionaires live on it. So how do they actually spend money? Simple. They borrow against their assets. Take a loan using your stock as collateral. Loans aren't taxable income. They live like billionaires and pay taxes like someone who earns nothing. When they do sell, they pay capital gains tax. The top rate? 20%. Compare that to the 37% income tax paid by a high-earning doctor or lawyer. The system rewards owning things over doing things. And when they die, their heirs inherit the assets at today's value, erasing decades of gains forever. It's called the step-up in basis. Generational wealth is transferred. The tax bill disappears. Then there are the offshore havens, Cayman Islands, Panama, Luxembourg. Hundreds of billions parked in shell companies that technically own nothing but control everything. Legal, hidden, untaxed. Foundations and charities are another tool. Donate to your own foundation, get a massive tax deduction, then use that foundation to fund your projects, your influence, your legacy. Giving that never really leaves. Real estate is perhaps the greatest tax shelter ever created. A building that earns rent while technically depreciating on paper lets the rich deduct losses against other income. The building gains value in real life. On paper, it's losing money. Both can be true, and only one gets taxed. And who writes these rules? Not teachers, not nurses. Wealthy corporations spend billions on lobbyists who sit with lawmakers and draft the very tax codes they'll benefit from. The system isn't broken, it's functioning exactly as purchased. In 2021, a bombshell. ProPublica obtained the actual IRS tax records of America's wealthiest people: Bezos, Buffett, Musk. The numbers were stunning. Some years, a true tax rate of 0.1%, not 10. 0.1. Here's what makes it even more disturbing. None of this is illegal. No one went to jail. These aren't tax cheats. They're tax architects. They built a house the law allows, and they live in it rent-free. Every dollar they avoid in taxes is a dollar someone else has to pay. Roads, hospitals, schools. The tax burden shifts quietly, invisibly onto the working class. You didn't sign up for this, but you're paying for it. Proposals exist. A wealth tax, closing the stepped-up basis loophole, taxing unrealized gains above $1 billion. Each one has been introduced. Each one has been killed. Follow the money and you'll find out why. They say the only certainties in life are death and taxes. But for the ultra-wealthy, even taxes are negotiable. The question isn't whether this is fair. You already know the answer. The question is, what happens now that you know? If this changed the way you see the world, share it with someone who needs to see it. And subscribe because there's a lot more they don't want you to know.